Hello unicorns, it's Tiffany and Angelica. We are back with another video. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be different than anything I've done on this channel yet. It's going to be an author spotlight. We're going to focus on one author and talk about all their works that I have read or watched. Today we're focusing on Candice Carty-Williams. Okay, you may know her name. She wrote Queenie. She wrote People Person. She done Champions, and she also did the Queenie adaptation. So I wanted to begin with an introduction of who Candice Carty-Williams is. Okay, so I looked both on Goodreads and on her website, and I found something a bit iffy, something a bit fishy is going on. Okay, first of all, I'm going to start with Goodreads. I don't know who is responsible for putting on the author's bio on Goodreads, because I know for readers, for reviewers, we write what we want in our bio. I don't know if it's the same thing for authors. But what it says on Candice Carty-Williams' profile, what it says about her introduction, her bio, it's a bit disrespectful. I don't like it one bit. I don't know who did it. I don't know if she did it herself. And if she did, I don't know if she's trying to be funny. I don't know if she's trying to be a bit nuanced. I don't know if she's trying to give off a certain, I don't know what the word is, je ne sais quoi, a bit of light comedy. But it didn't work. It didn't hit. And I find it very disrespectful. Let me just tell you what it says. Let me read it out for you. Okay. It says, Candice Carty-Williams was born in 1989, the result of an affair between a Jamaican cab driver who barely speaks and a Jamaican Indian dyslexic receptionist who speaks more than anyone else in the world. And I think that was her attempt at being funny, or the attempt at whoever wrote this at being funny. It's not funny. We move on. She studied media at Sussex because her sixth form teacher said she wasn't clever enough to do English. But she showed them all by first working at the Guardian's Guide and then moving to publishing at 23. And okay, great, achievements made. You showed your teacher, because sometimes teachers ain't shit, but again, it's not needed in your bio. It just gives across you're being petty. Don't get me wrong, I'm a petty bitch to my core, but it's not needed in your bio. We move on. Some more. Carty-Williams has worked on marketing, literary fiction, non-fiction and graphic novels ever since. Her first highlight was interviewing David Cronenberg and telling him that if she were a white man, she'd like to look like him. Really? Really? I don't even know who this David Cronenberg is, but really? Okay. In response, he called her a delightful person. In 2016, she created and launched the Guardian and Fourth Estate's BAME Short Story Prize, a prize that aims to find, champion and celebrate Black, Asian and minority ethnic writers. She also contributes regularly to Refinery 29 and ID. So, I don't know about you, but this bio isn't giving. This is putting a bad taste in my mouth about who Candice Carty-Williams is. And if I read this, I would just think, she's full of herself. I don't know if that's me hating on her. I don't know what it is. I didn't appreciate this bio. It needs to be changed. But she's been redeemed. Whoever is her team or whoever's responsible has improved on her website. So from the author's direct site on the About Me page, it reads as follows. Candice Carty-Williams was born in South London in 1989. She is a showrunner, cultural writer, and author of Book of the Year award-winning and Sunday Times best-selling Queenie, as well as the young adult novella Empress and Anaya and the Sunday Times best-selling People Person. Now that is how you start an introduction. Now, that is what you say on an author's bio. You highlight their achievement and you highlight every single book that they have read till this day that has awards. Goodreads, bye. Anyway, it continues. In 2016, Candice curated and launched the Guardian and Fourth Estate Short Story Prize for underrepresented writers, the first inclusive initiative of its kind in book publishing. I did not know that. So props go to you, Candice. They did say that in Goodreads. I did not know this. Where was we? Candice is the ex-Guardian Review book columnist, has written for Guardian, obviously. You see, I like that. ID, Vogue, The Face, and every iteration of Sunday Times Beat magazine, Black Ballad, and many more publications. And it goes on to say her books and her adaptations afterwards in another small paragraph. But that is what I expect from an author introductory bio. Goodreads is shit. Whoever is a part of Candy's publishing team, I don't know what the correct firm is, they need to go and just copy and paste what's on her website onto Goodreads. Yes. So well done, Candice. I like your accomplishment. I like your accomplishments to this date. Let's get into her works. Now, what prompted me to focus on Candice Carty-Williams is obviously the adaptation of Queenie that has just come out on Channel 4. I watched it within one weekend when it came out because it's available. I'm not sure if it's streaming weekly on Channel 4, but it's available on 4OD, and I don't know how it's streaming on Hulu at the moment. I didn't do my research. I didn't look into it. My bad. But anyway, Queenie. So Queenie is about a British woman living in London of Jamaican descent, working at a national newspaper. And it makes me wonder if this was a self-insert. Because Candice Carty-Williams is a black British woman of Jamaican descent living in London who also worked at a national British newspaper. If that's not a self-insert, I don't know what it is. But she's 25 years old. But Queenie, she's 25. She is struggling to find her place in this world. And we follow her descent into a toxic behaviour, into living this toxic lifestyle. And I say that because Queenie is dating this boy, this man. I'm gonna refer to them as boys because they're younger than me. But they're in their 20s, so they're technically men and women. They're adults. But I'm sorry. They go on like children. I'm going to be referring to you as children. Okay? So, Queenie's dating this white boy who is utterly disrespectful. Disrespectful of her, disrespectful of her culture. And Queenie gets on her because she doesn't demand respect from her boyfriend. But let me get into that later. Okay? Let me get into that later. So, she breaks up with her boyfriend. And it just triggers her. It makes her spiral into bad behaviour. It makes her spiral into bad behaviour. And now she's just going around spreading it wide for anyone who will come in and take it. Except for the black man. She doesn't fuck with a black man. And I'll get into that later why that bothers me. But anyway, that's what the book's about. My initial thoughts. I read Queenie back in 2020 when I think it came out around that time. That was 4 years ago. I read Queenie. And I gave it 2 stars. I gave it 2 stars and I'll tell you why. First, this book was not for me. Descriptions alone, main character vibes, author vibes, yes, it's my type of book. Okay? This book is about a black, as I said, a black British woman of Jamaican descent living in London. Am I not a black British woman of Jamaican descent living in London? This book highlights is me. So I thought it was a book for me. But when I'm reading this book, I came to realise, although this book was written by a black woman, about a black woman, it was not written for the black woman's gaze. It was not written for my enjoyment. And this book, I don't think this book was meant to be enjoyed. This book was meant to make a statement. I did not know that going in. I thought this was going to be about black girl magic. I thought this was going to be about exploring the Jamaican culture within London, exploring the different generations of Jamaican culture in London, and how the new generation that only know the UK, the British culture, is finding their place in this culture, knowing that their parents or their grandparents grew up in a different culture, and that blending and melding. That's what I thought the book would be about. And that's on me. Because before I picked up the book, I didn't read the full synopsis. I just read the highlights, the key notes takeaway. I thought, yes, this is a 5-star read. It wasn't 2 stars, 2 stars. Now, upon reflection, upon 4 years of reflection, And upon I didn't reread this book, but upon watching the TV adaptation, I understand that I judged this book harshly for the wrong reasons. I gave this book 2 stars because it wasn't the book I wanted it to be. So now I'm judging the book on not what I wanted it to be, on what it actually is. And my 2 stars remain. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I'm going to tell you why. But first, let me tell you what I think Queenie did right. 2 things I think Queenie did right. I think it explores the hypersexualization of the black female correctly. Because her sexual encounters with these men of the different races are fetishizing her. We have the Asian guy that fetishizes her big booty, that wants her. We have the white men that she sleeps with. I feel like they only want her just to be with another ethnicity, to say that they are woke or that they're down with the culture. But everything about her, her big bum, big lips, big tilly them, it's been fetishized. It's hypersexuality. As a young black girl growing up, and when you start developing breasts and your hips start to widen out and you get them curves in, you start getting fetishized earlier in life than I think not most, not all, but some of the other races. And the second thing I think this book does well is the exploration of her PTSD and her mental health and her struggles with it. Because I know what I've seen, what I've heard, because it's not from my family that I know of, but I know from a lot of other families of minorities, mental health to them is not a thing. They don't focus on it. You want to go see a therapist for why? For why? Especially religious family. You want to go see a therapist? Go to church. You know, go to the mosque. Why are you going to speak to a stranger about your problems? Or keep your problems in-house. Don't be telling people your business, okay? Queenie is struggling. She needs help, okay? She doesn't feel comfortable about talking to her own family members about this. She goes to the hospital. Early on, first scene in the book, she's at the hospital with her auntie. And she is been told that she is suffering from a miscarriage. Her auntie is right there. But she can't talk to her about it. She's struggling. But she can't talk to her auntie about this. And I think that exploration of the mental health of the black girl's struggle, where they feel safe in talking about their problems, who can they turn to? That was great. That was greatly explored. Those are only 2 things I think that were done well. All the other parts annoyed me so much that I couldn't rate it higher than a 2. And let me tell you why. Queenie is written as such a flawed character. I thought it was the intention of the author to write this character in such a flawed way that obviously people are going to have their opinions. People are either going to empathize and like her or think that Queenie's actions are stupid and that she needs to fix up herself real quick. Okay? But when a reviewer posted her thoughts about this book, and then Candice Carty-Williams comes back, claps back, because she didn't like that review. This reviewer had the same opinions that I had. That I thought this book was going to be great, had high hopes, it's going to be a thriving book, but it was not it. And this reviewer said her piece. And then Candice Carty-Williams decided to clap back and throw shade. Like, that is not right. That is not okay. And I want to give the same energy that I would have gave non-black authors, because I'm all for supporting them. But when you do something left field, I'm going to call you out on it. So I was in 2 minds about whether or not I should even watch Queenie, considering I did not like the book. But I changed my mind real quick. You know why? Because certain times adaptations can do it right and can improve upon the content and the story that we was getting in book material. So before I jump into the adaptation, before I jump into what I liked about and what I didn't like, let's just focus more on the context of Queenie and what I didn't like about it and why it was not a good read for me. So Candice Carty-Williams explores dating, anxiety and racism through a lens of a modern day black British woman. I thought it would be whimsical, as I said. I thought it would be a fun look about a black British girl navigating family commitments, friendships, dating and work life, balancing adulthood basically. It's not. That's not what this book is. Instead, it was about a damaged black girl chasing after a terrible white boy for reasons unknown. For reasons unknown. Because till this moment, till even after rewatching, even after re-consuming the story through the TV adaptation, I still do not understand why Queenie does not want to date a black man. Let me explain one thing to you. The catalyst, the reason why Queenie's character decided to spiral down this hypersexuality, sleeping with any man that paid her any attention, was because she broke up with her boyfriend Tom. Now, Tom is a white boy, and Queenie and him been together, I don't know, 3-4 years. They were planning to move in together, something rather or another. And she's at dinner with his family. His family is, again, white, middle-class family. And they're saying some comments out of left field. They're saying some disrespectful, hurtful comments about Queenie and their potential child that they might have. When I read that scene in the book, I thought, oh, we're going to have conversations about interracial relationships and how to make them work, how to make them balance. Because obviously, you're going to date someone from outside your culture, outside your race, outside what you grew up with. Okay, there's going to be some clashes. There's going to be some conflict. There needs to be a discussion. I don't know when it needs to happen. Even though it is 2024 and the year of our goddess Beyonce and the Princess Rihanna, we still need to have a conversation when you are dating outside your race about the levels of disrespect that you are not going to tolerate. You need to have that conversation. Now, I don't think Queenie and Tom had that conversation, because after 4 years, your family is still spouting this nonsense while around her, in her face, and they think it's okay. And Tom is not putting his family in his place, and they're like, oh, that's just how they are. And so you tell me for 4 years this has been going on and Queenie ain't said nothing to him? So when she does blow up and ruin the birthday and put the cake on the floor, is all of a sudden her fault? Now, I know there's been miscommunication in that relationship, but that's on both of your fault. Now, when I saw that, I thought a conversation will be had in this book that will bring up, that's why she is dating, because Queenie is dating outside of her race. She is going with men who are not black, who are not Jamaican. She is dating outside of her culture. That conversation is never had. We see Queenie go sleep with men after men after men. None of them are black. And even her friend Cheske says, why don't you date a black man? She says she doesn't want to. Why? Why? Why are we reading a book by a black woman, written about a black woman, and there's no positive black male representation in there? Apart from the granddad, but the granddad's a side character. This is about a love story. Where is it? That annoyed me. That annoyed me. And I understand she has PTSD from, I think her mother was abused, and the mother's boyfriend is obviously a black man, and that triggered her PTSD. Now, I don't know if I'm just picking up on that or if that was explicitly said, but if she can get PTSD from that, can't she get PTSD from all these men sexually abusing her and she thinks it's okay? I don't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't like that representation. Not one bit. However, that point about no black male representation in this book was, in fact, rectified with the TV adaptation. That is why I like the TV adaptation better than the book. Now, they made some big changes, some positive changes, and that has enhanced the story for me. First of all, as I was saying, the male representation. The character, what's his name? Frank as a character was lovely, was absolutely delightful. And I felt like this character, this love interest that we can root for, that we can see that Queenie can have a healthy relationship with a male if she just picks the right one, that was missing from the book. Now, again, he could have been any race. I like the fact that he was a black man. In the book was missing the positive love interest of Queenie. The show gave it to me. And I didn't understand why she kept overlooking him. He was always there. He was her best friend's cousin. He was always in his life. And the fact that Frank was in this show elevated Queenie's story for me. I had to say that. Because Queenie herself is boring. Now, I've heard Queenie being referenced as the next Bridget Jones. And there was a scene where she's in a rabbit suit, exactly like Bridget Jones. I can see how people can bring up that comparison. I don't think Queenie's the next Bridget Jones. I don't think you should put that disrespect on this show. Because I feel like Bridget Jones is about an older woman trying to find love, trying to figure out her relationship status, you know? And it's comedy, it's fun. Queenie is not comedic. Queenie is not a ha joke around and find out type of show. Queenie is more deeper than that. So I don't think it has that same levity that Bridget Jones can have. And that's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing at all. Although I still didn't like Queenie's story, and the actors, chef's kiss, the actors in Queenie were great. I just don't like Queenie as a character, so I couldn't actually enjoy the show as much as I wanted to. So I gave the book 2 stars. I give Queenie 3.5 because the actors are fantastic. I like the changes that they made. The actress that played Queenie, great. Let me tell you, the actress that played Cheske, I will watch a whole show, a whole film, read a whole book on Cheske's character alone. She was giving me the energy that I wanted her to. She was giving me everything. Cheske was what I wanted Queenie to be. You know? Confident, sure about herself, know what type of man she wants to date. Okay? Cheske, I need a book on Cheske. That is the black representation I want. That is the black UK representation that I want to read about. Candice Carty-Williams, give me a book on Cheske, please. Give me a little short skit, you know. It can give me a little 30-minute little highlight reel on Cheske. I will watch that. I would eat that up. Please make that happen. And let me tell you something. I wanted to see who the actress that played Cheske was, and I found her. But when I put Queenie TV adaptation into Google, please explain to me why she's not listed as the main cast. Like, look at this. Where is she? Where is she? Where is that goddess that plays Cheske? Fix that also. Team over at Queenie. Fix that. ASAP. So, just to wrap this segment up on Queenie up, okay, it's always good to see black UK stories being told. I don't care who's gonna write, well, no, I do care who's gonna write it, but anytime a black UK story is being shown in the media, I'm a devourer, I'm a watcher. I might not always enjoy it, but I'm a watch it. And I don't always need to enjoy it because not every story is a story for me. And that's okay. Not every story written by a black author about black people needs to be 5 stars. I feel there's always a higher expectation when minorities are telling their story. We have an expectation that every story that is told from them needs to be a 10 out of 10, needs to be 5 stars, and needs to blow all the world away. And if it's not a 10 out of 10, if it's not a banger, there's so much hate and negativity heaped onto it. Now, I know my review for Queenie has its negative aspects, but I did highlight the positives that it's been done. And what I say to all the haters that are giving Queenie and other voices trying to get their stories heard, is that please calm yourself down. Not everything can be a 5-star read. Not everything can be some thought-provoking stunners. And that's okay. So, Candice Carty-Williams, please continue doing what you're doing. I do appreciate it. And I appreciate what you did so much more with your sophomore. Is it called a sophomore novel? No, that's not my word. I don't use that. With your second novel, People Person. Now, that was fantastic. Let's jump into People Person. So, as you can see, People Person, love that book. Love that book. People Person was what I wanted Queenie to be. People Person's messy, has drama, but every single character had their flaws, but I could love them. I could get behind them. I love People Person. And that's why I just like, Candice Carty-Williams, you winning. You winning. Let me tell you the brief synopsis, some notes, get the gist of People Person. So it says, she always longed to have a dad in her life, but now that she did, it was shit. What? How's your dad shit? Read the book and find out. Anyway, let me tell you. So People Person is the story of 5 siblings, 5 children. You have 1 dad, father them all, 4 different mothers. Okay? So it's about them when they're older and how they got together, how a family crisis had called them back together, and how they're navigating their relationship, being siblings, but not growing up in this. They didn't grow up together. Hopefully that was a good synopsis, but that's basically the gist of the story. I enjoyed People Person. People Person was a book for me because I love family dramas. I love knowing the ins and outs of the family, seeing how different brothers and sisters, how they connect to each other. I love this book. I love the joy, I love the heartbreak, and I love the comedy. This book was it for me. This is a big-hearted story about the siblings and they're trying to find a way to be family. despite their absentee father. And I know a lot of Caribbean households, a lot of black families and non-black families at that, fathers are known to be absent in their children's life, especially those fathers that have spreaded their seed everywhere. And you have like a child there, a child there, a child there. And they can't be everywhere at once. Nick Cannon, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. I see you. But yeah, so these fathers can't be everywhere at once. So certain children are going to feel neglected. But in this book, we have these 5 children that have come together at a crisis, at a junction in their life. They're all coming together and they're all riding for each other. And I love to see it. Now, the dad in this book, the dad is called Cyril. Now, at first, I thought, oh, you're just a deadbeat. You just want to go, dip it and do it and go. And 9 times out of 10, I can't always blame Cyril for his action, because the women that he's with know what he's about, know what type of man he is, and still allow him to raw dog them and get them pregnant, and then you know he's going to dip out. So I can't blame Cyril for those actions. However, Cyril as a character, I think I'm saying his name right, but Cyril as a character, every time he's mentioned, every time they talk about their father, or even when we got his backstory and we understood why he did what he did, I absolutely loved it. You know, it gave me a new perspective to follow. Instead of just seeing, oh, these men are out here just spreading their seed and they're going about their rubbish, their shit. Some of them are shit. Cyril, I understand you. I got why you did it. And I don't want to tell you why. Read the book to find out. It was great. Now, again, I would love to see this adapted. I would love to see this book adapted, and then we have flashbacks of Cyril's life when he was in Jamaica, left behind by his mom, and how that affected him, and that caused him to go down this path of just getting all these children and basically abandoning them as well. Loved it. I love that contrast. Like, I appreciate that Candice Carty-Williams didn't only show that he was a waste man, because he is a waste man, but she didn't just leave it as that. She made us understand why he was a waste man. Now, again, I'm not saying show sympathy for all the waste men and dickheads in your life, but if you understand the why, it might make you heal from the trauma that they put on you better. That's the way I see it. Like, honestly, this review is not meant to be about Cyril. It's meant to be about people person. But I can do a whole deep dive about Cyril and his character and how the trauma from his past, how his abandonment from his mother made him the waste man of a man he is today. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Okay, so let me tell you more about this book. What this book did right. I loved how Candice Carty-Williams explored the theme of family. I loved the idea that these kids that's only met each other once when they were 10, 9, when they were young bloods, they only met each other once when their dad took them out, and they know of each other. But they obviously don't grow up in the same household as each other. They don't have the same experience, but they know where they are. So when one of them has an issue, when one of them has a crisis, instead of calling your brethren, your friends, your mother, she called her siblings, the ones that she doesn't grow up with. She called them because I feel like she has that innate instinct that her siblings will have her back. Her siblings will ride and die for her. And that's not always the case. That's not always the case with half-sisters and half-brothers and the children that you don't grow up in the same household with. But in this book, it is the case, and I like to see it. And I like how she showcased how in each of them, the fact that their father were, the fact that the lack of their father in their lives affected them differently, because they all went through the same thing. Their father's not in their lives. They all have the same dad. Their father's not in their lives. I think one of them was a mixed race boy. One of them had a white mom. One of them had an African mom. 2 of them came from the same mother, and I forgot what the other one was. Maybe they were Indian. I'm not sure, but all their mothers were different ethnicities or from different cultures. Same dad, Jamaican dad. I like how they each affected them. Okay, brilliant stuff. I really want to remember the oldest sister's name. The oldest sister in this book was absolutely exceptional. What Candice Carty-Williams did with that older sister's character just showcased the pressure that the elder sister had in bringing unity to the other children, bringing them back together. And her character was phenomenal. Her character was amazing, and I liked the conversation that she had with one of her sister's boyfriend who was trying to blackmail them. She came, she brought the fire, and she laid down the law. She told the man what was, what was gonna happen, and she was taking no prisoners. I loved her. Now, with all that being said, People Person does have his problems. Now, and my main issue why this is not a 5-star read, why this is not one of my unicorns, is because they have this murder, mystery, accidental death situation going on, which was the catalyst for the siblings coming together. And I thought that was just stupid. That element did not need to happen. It went nowhere. It was stupid. I was rolling my eyes. If it was taken out of the book would have still been great. Okay, you could have had enough of catalyst. What the catalyst could have been was that Cyril was sick and they was coming together and they meet up and they came together and then that's how they reconnected. This whole murder, mystery, accidental death situation that they had going on in the book was stupid, not needed, didn't like it. Overall though, People Person, second book I read by Queenie, the second book written by Candice Carty-Williams, great book, big improvement, rated it 4.5 stars or 4 stars. I think 4.5. Let's just leave it at 4.5. Great book. Go read it if you haven't read it. Now, it's not a book. Her next book that Candice Carty-Williams put out was Anaya and the Empress. I haven't read it. I don't think I am going to read it. Again, it's not speaking to me. It's not. I did put a hold on it on the library. It came in. I let it go. I'm not going to read it. So I have nothing to say on that. But we do have something to say on the first TV series that Candice Carty-Williams put out called Champions. I did not know this was coming out when I saw it on BBC iPlayer. I was just like, oh, what's this show? I haven't heard about it. Loved every moment of this show. It was phenomenal. To me, it felt like I knew it was what I was missing because I just finished binge watching Star and I'm so mad that Star is not coming back. But I finished binge watching Star and I wanted something in that same vein. I wanted something where it's a music industry type of thing. And I was just searching and I saw on Google that BBC has a show called Champions. Thought, let's watch it. I did not know that Candice Carty-Williams wrote this. It is great. So, let me tell you what Champions is about. Champion, again, follows two siblings. One of them is called, what's he called? So the first sibling, the male sibling, the champion, is called Bosco Champion. And he's a 25-year-old rapper, again, fresh out of prison. And he made it big, went to prison. Now he's trying to reinvent himself. Now he's trying to come back in the limelight. And it follows his sister also, Fita. And it follows his sister, Fita, as well. And Fita is in the background of her brother's success. They both love music. They both want to make it in the music industry. But again, people elevate their sons before they elevate their daughters. So Bosco's elevated. He's the champion. He's the world's famous superstar rapper. But all his songs, or most of his hit bangers, are written by the sister, are written by Fita. So when he comes out of prison, he's just like, look, write me songs, whatever. Fita's just like, when's my time to shine? So one of Bosco's rivals in the industry gives Fita a shot. Now Fita is just struggling, like, should she stay loyal to her brother? Should she continue to work behind him in the background, writing his songs, not getting recognition for all the work she's put in? Or does she go out on her own and be the queen that she knows she can be? It was giving me the energy of Star. It was giving me the energy of Empire, but for the UK audience, for the UK scene. Only for the fact because we have black musicians and a family going at it, who's gonna be number one. This show was great. First of all, the family dynamic was great. The representation of the Jamaican culture in it was great. The mashup between UK grime, R&B and reggae all blended together to make this harmonious melody. Oh, I love Champions. If you couldn't already tell, I loved Champions. So what this show did right, in addition to what I already said, was that it was the angst, it was the conflict in this show felt real. Felt the sibling rivalry. I felt that the fact that Fita was dating the brother's best friend, I was trying to hide it, trying to keep it a secret. I was there with you. I was following along. I was in there with the nitty and the gritty. I loved that part. And I loved the fact that she explored the patriarchy, not only within the world at large, but within Caribbean culture. Because everyone expects Bosco, even though he's suffering mentally, he's struggling with the fact that he's just come out of prison. And he doesn't know he knows who he is, but he's struggling mentally with who he is as a person, with how he can assimilate back into the world, back into the life he's held. But because he is Busco, he is the son, he is the champion, he needs to be up there in the limelight. Not one of them thought that Fita could take that role. Not one of them, them being her family, felt that Fita can stand up in that role and give Busco a rest. Not even Busco himself, who knows he needed to sit back and take some time for himself, felt that Fita, his sister, the one that's made him who he is today, could stand up and be that person that runs the show, can be a champion for once in a while. And I love that. So, what this show got wrong? I have no notes. I don't think the show did anything wrong. Sure, there are problems, but I can't see any way to improve it. And I feel like the problems that the show faced was needed to make the show to what it was, if you get my meaning. Like, there are some things I can be nitty-picky about, but no, the show was great. This show, if you haven't watched Champions yet, go watch Champions, it's great. Not only, actually, my only one complaint, this is not about the show. This is about the showrunners. This is about the people in charge, the producers in charge that don't want to give Champions a season 2. Because how are you going to end the season like that with all that drama unfolding to a crescendo of a climax, and you're not going to give me a season 2? And how is Candice Carty-Williams going to send a post that she's happy that this has ended? No, sirree. No. Can you please shop around? Can you please shop around and ask somebody to go pick this up? Or do a little skit on YouTube, you know? You don't need to make it big. Even get together a bunch of the top UK British raps, the reggaes, the top black British music people in the industry right now, and just put on a whole concert for me. Put on a whole concert, because I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood to go out and dance. Anyway. So that is it. That is all of Candice Carty-Williams' work that I have read, that I have watched. And I would say 3/4 of them I enjoyed. 3/4 of the work, she's at 75% with me. And 75% is fantastic. I'm not including A Nine Empress. Haven't read that. Haven't consumed that. I'm not going to. So Candice, keep doing what you're doing, girl. Keep working on what you're working on. I love it. So, if you like this video, please let me know if you have read or watched any of Candice Carty-Williams' work. Please comment below which ones you like, which you didn't like. And I'll be back with another video soon.